We are about to embark on a journey down a dark, dangerous, evil road that leads to the CIA, LSD, human experimentation, and mind control. The following documentary was produced by the United States government. It was intended for the CIA agents' eyes only and was classified. In the 1990s, this documentary and others were declassified. Please share this important information and take a deeper look into the New World Order and how society is being manipulated and controlled by these very same devices and techniques contained in this film. Please share this with everyone you know.
The object of this presentation is to demonstrate the effect of MER-17, a new blocking agent, against the development of LSD-25 psychosis. We have used 2 healthy graduate students in psychology as subjects, but time permits us to show only one. On the first experimental day, Ronnie, aged 22 and weighing 75 kilograms, was given 100 gamma of LSD-25 in distilled water orally. This is a very small quantity of LSD-25, but all investigators report that it is enough to produce a temporary psychotic dissociation state in any healthy adult. The scene which follows shows what happened to Ronnie after he drank the LSD-25 solution. And if you will follow the clock, you will be able to note time intervals accurately. Now, how do you feel after an hour?
Like I should be getting sick. But it's different in that I'm not. I mean, I'd be sick by this time if I were going to.
Feel almost a nausea?
Almost is a good word. Yeah.
Anything else?
That dryness of throat, but it feels as though if I did take a drink or something, well, I wouldn't keep it, so and there is I have to maintain my attention. It's an effort to talk to you right now, for instance, realities, believing.
Well, you were talking to Ronnie. Ron, a while ago we separated you and Dick. Do you have any idea why we did that?
No, it's, yes I do. You just separated us to see how we would react.
You felt, though, that we were separating you to see how you alone reacted. And you felt that we were watching you. Is that right or wrong?
No, you haven't been watching me one way or the other.
You don't think we're trying to pull anything on you? Bill, why did you assume that particular line of inquiry with Ronnie about the separation of the two boys?
Because I felt at the time of separation that Ronnie did have some very real paranoid feelings and felt as though we separated the two of them so we could spy on Ronnie alone.
And yet when he sat down before the camera, he didn't voice any of those paranoid ideas.
No, I think it's interesting that he was able to mobilize his defenses and to deny that he did have those feelings at the time. I feel that they were really there, and I think he did show other evidences of paranoid feelings.
Ronnie, you look tired, are you?
Yeah.
Have you got anything particular to report to me?
No.
Do you feel slowed up?
Decidedly.
How is your mood? Are you unhappy?
No.
You feel gay?
No.
No emotion at all. Does it seem like you've been here a great long time?
I've lost all time perception. It's probably sometime in the afternoon is all I can tell you.
Have you had any visual phenomena or any auditory phenomena?
I was in on the couch. I was nothing that can describe it. There were a lot of colors and things taking shapes.
Were they geometric patterns, or were they just sort of like a batik? Did they sort of run together, or what?
I'm sorry, what were you?
You forgot what I asked you.
The auditory visual things. Yeah, they're geometric in shape, I'd say.
Anything you'd like to do right now?
No.
If you had Aladdin's lamp and could do anything in the world you want to do right now, what would you like to do?
Get rid of this nervousness and apprehensive.
Do you feel as though you're in contact with this situation and with us and with people around us?
I really don't know.
Ronnie, have you been sleeping for the last few minutes?
Not exactly. No.
You've been lying down on the bed.
No.
Were you thinking about anything in particular? What did I ask you, Ryan?
You asked me if I were thinking about anything.
Are you worried?
No, I don't think so.
You've been lying down, you haven't been talking. If I asked you how you felt, could you describe the way you feel? What did I ask you, Ronnie? Well,
Yeah.
what did I ask you?
How I felt or something, I guess.
Could you answer me?
I feel all right.
Ron? Didn't been 6 hours since you took that drink. Are you still feeling badly?
Yeah.
Do you know where you are?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Christ Hospital.
Has your mind been on anything in particular? Have you been thinking about anything in particular?
No.
Do you feel depressed?
No.
Do you feel elated?
No.
Have you been seeing anything by way of color? Or have you been hearing anything unusual?
No.
If I were to ask you how you felt, could you tell me?
I guess I am sad. I'm depressed. That's about all.
What sort of mental activity are you going through?
Confusion.
Well, then you said that you thought the sun was in the wrong position when you looked out the window.
Yeah, I lost time perception.
Do you think that you're clearing at all, or are you still quite muddled?
I don't think in the last 15 minutes anything has been an improvement now.
Are you anxious? Are you fearful? Are you worried?
I'm awfully nervous.
What would you classify your mood as?
My mood, apprehensive.
You know about what?
No.
What has your mental content been lately? Do you know what you've been thinking about?
Just trying to keep things with true situations, trying to be aware of it, trying to stay in contact with reality.
Have you felt a waxing and waning of reality?
Well, sometimes I've been confused about which is reality and which isn't. I mean, what little situations I was aware of noises, for instance, that may have been to annoy me and may not have been. And rather than investigate, I just sort of let them go.
Can you describe to us how this thing was some hours back when you were in the middle of it?
Just mass confusion is all. That's a confusion.
Would you say it was pleasant or unpleasant?
I wasn't aware at the time of any pleasantness or unpleasantness, and I'm still not. I'm not aware of any pleasantness or unpleasantness. I'm emotionless about them.
Well, Ronnie, do you think the picture shows the whole story of your LSD-25 experience?
Not by a long shot.
The day after the experiment, you wrote out something about it. Would you mind reading a part of it?
No. I had very little by way of visual hallucinations, but what I consider the important thing that, well, what's the word to describe it? Dissociated, plagued, pounded, weighed. All three are inadequate to describe the horrible state I was in, all of them put together. Perhaps the central thing was suspicion and fear that you would find out about me, or perhaps think things that were not true. My overwhelming concern became, are they doing this to find out how I'll act? Are they deliberately rattling that damn paper to make me angry? On and on and on this went. And, as was no doubt obvious, I decided to do as little as possible, so I wouldn't make any mistakes. It was my confusion, the fact that I had to study the situation, to be careful that, shall I say, racked me up.
I believe that there was still a trace of this suspiciousness when we took you home that night. Would you mind telling us about the television experience?
It's hard to believe, but I joined the family to look at television in the living room, and I'll be damned if it wasn't talking in loaded phrases, too. That made my reason take another step toward control, and I felt better.
Well, thank you very much, Ronnie. This essentially paranoid type of reaction pattern has been described repeatedly by investigators of LSD-25 psychosis. During the next week, Ronnie was given a 5 milligram tablet of our new blocking agent twice daily, and one final tablet on the morning of the second experimental day. Our clinical experience with Meritran convinced us that this compound was quite different from any other central nervous system stimulants that we had known before, and we were interested in the effect of some of its isomers. When the nitrogen atom is moved from the alpha to the gamma position, an entirely new compound results pharmacologically, and it is this gamma isomer of Meritran which we have used as a blocking agent against LSD-25 psychosis. We were led to its use because of some dramatic, though inconsistent, results we had obtained when we used it on patients with schizophrenia. And now, let us return to Ronnie and the second experimental day. Good morning to you. Good morning. I believe you've been taking one 5 milligram tablet of this compound twice daily throughout the last week. That's right. And you took one this morning. Yes, sir. All right, now here we are with 1/10 of a milligram of LSD in the still water. So down the hatch. All right, does it seem to be a half an hour since you took the LSD?
Yes, sir.
Have you got anything to report to us in this first half hour?
Nothing. This is something to report.
It's been an hour since you've taken LSD. What can you report to us?
Well, now I can definitely tell I have taken it. But my thoughts seem to be in good shape so far.
Well, Ronnie, it's been an hour and a half since you took the LSD, and I've noticed an increase in restlessness in you.
Extreme restlessness, yes, sir. But my thoughts are in good control. I mean, I'm much more confident at this time than I was.
It's been 2 hours now since you've taken the LSD. Does it seem that that's right?
Yeah, that's true.
And there's been no distortion of time sense?
No.
Of the passage of time. Well, let's ask you first how your body feels.
It feels fine. There's no sensations one way or the other.
Well, now, you've been restless. You did a lot of pacing for a while, and then you lay down for a while.
Yeah.
Now, what can we find out about your mental processes? Have you had any feeling of drifting in and out of the world of reality at all?
Well, no, I haven't.
It's now 2.5 hours since you took the LSD. Does that seem right to you?
Yes, it's about right.
And there has been no alteration or distortion of your sense of time?
No, I don't think so.
Has much transpired in the last half hour, as far as you're concerned?
Well, nothing one way or the other, no.
Now, last week you had the very uncomfortable feeling that all of us were indulging in double talk. Is there any of that feeling in you now?
None whatsoever. I think that'd be a sort of a dissociative feeling that I don't have now.
Anything new to report to me at this time?
I don't think there's anything new. There's been no real change, I don't think, that I'm aware of.
At 3 hours last week, I asked you that if you had Aladdin's lamp and could get your most desired wish, you said that you would wish that something could be done to get rid of the nervousness that you had. Would you answer in the same way today?
I'm not sure. I think I'd be more aware of the possibilities of such an offer today than I.
Ronnie, what time does it seem to be?
It's somewhere, I'd say about 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the last half hour, we've been sort of having a general discussion. on philosophic things, the pitfalls and scientific methods and so on. You seem to be sort of interested in what we were.
I followed your conversation.
If you could do exactly what you wanted to do right now, would you be doing anything different than you're doing?
Well, I could be home, if that's what you mean. I could probably be doing something a little more enjoyable, yeah.
What would be enjoyable in your thinking right now?
I don't know, being outside, it seems like a nice day out.
Well, Ronnie, we're now at the 5.5 hour after taking LSD period. You're just telling me outside that this is nothing like it was last week.
It is nothing like it was last week. There are some of the same symptoms, and it seems that it were ready to happen, but it just didn't. It doesn't. I mean, when I went to lie down, last Saturday I could have easily sort of been swallowed up, and I was trying to do it then, just now, and it just didn't happen, that's all.
You said that last week when you lay down and closed your eyes, something closed over your mind.
That's right.
But you can't find that today, try as you will. Ronnie, you wrote out your experience after the second episode or two. Would you mind reading us part of it?
No. It was quite similar, yet it was so very, very different. Where the first time my mind began racing and becoming tangled and eventually swallowing me up, despite my efforts. The second time, my efforts to fight it off were successful. In one sentence, I think it might be summed up rather adequately by saying it was a fight both times, but the second time I won.
Well, thank you very much. There are probably many questions that you wish answered about this work.
And Doctor, what dosage of the blocking agent have you found to be effective?
We have ranged from 10 to 15 to 20 to 30, 50, and 100 milligrams. There are individual differences. In the lower ranges, the blocking is not necessarily complete, but in the higher ranges, it is so invariably.
Have you done this on any more subjects, Dr. Clavey?
Yes, 8 so far in a double-blind study, and the blocking effect was consistent.
Is a week of pre-treatment necessary in all cases?
No, sir. We have already discovered that 2 days of pre-treatment suffices, and our guess is that it can be shortened even more.
Did you say this drug has clinical application?
Well, time will tell, but we've been quite impressed with our clinical results so far in some cases of acute schizophrenia, some cases of alcoholic hallucinosis, some senile hallucinatory states, and even a few cases of chronic schizophrenia. They represent about 60 cases in all. And furthermore, we are continuing our experimental work with hallucinogenic drugs such as mescaline, cannabis, adrenochrome, etc. Are there any other questions?
Yes. Can MDR-17 be used intravenously?
Yes, and it's very interesting, too. On December the 18th, 1954, Ronnie drank a second 100 gamma of LSD-25 without protection. 4.5 hours later, he was in an almost catatonic state. At that time, 10 milligrams of MER-17 was given intravenously and repeated in 15 minutes. This brought about a complete cessation and dissolution of his LSD-25 psychosis. Look at the picture.
I might get it.
Do you feel that you're very close to us in your thinking?
No.
Can you tell me anything about what you have been thinking about? too painful to talk about? Ron, how long does it seem to have been since you took the LSD?
A couple hours, I guess.
Are you upset?
No.
Are you muddled?
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about your thinking now? Ron? Can you tell me anything about your thinking now?
I can't understand.
How do you feel?
All right.
Does anything make much sense to you now? What seems to be the matter?
No.
Can you think?
No.
Can you tell me what's going on inside of your head? Ronnie, are you frightened? Are you fearful?
No.
Now, Ron, we're going to give you an injection to see whether it makes you feel any better. I don't suppose you taste anything, do you? Do you feel anything? All right. Now, about 3 minutes since you took the injection. What can you say about things now? Do things seem any clearer to you?
They do. I don't know why.
Can you elaborate on that in any way?
I'm just not as confused.
Now, Ron, it's been about 12 minutes since we gave you your injection. You just said that you feel like you have reality in your grasp and it's waxing and waning.
Okay.
Can you tell me anything more about it?
Maybe I said it's just a reorganization or getting things in place again.
Is it a pleasant comeback, as it were, or is it disturbing to get things reorganized properly?
No, it's the more I can, the more the better I feel.
Okay, we're giving you a second injection about 17 minutes after the first one. How are you feeling now, Ron?
Like I'm waking up from a fever or something.
Is it a pleasant feeling to be waking up from a fever like this?
Well, it's pleasant to be back, I guess.
Bill, is there any change in his blood pressure?
No, his blood pressure and pulse remain essentially the same.
Why, it's been 30 minutes since we gave you the first injection and 15 minutes since we gave you the second one. Now, let's try to say how you feel now. I know it's hard.
Well, I haven't yet a foundation from which I can speak.
Do you think you feel differently than you did 30 minutes ago when you walked into this room?
Yes, I guess I do, very much so.
Now, Ronnie, it's been an hour since we gave you your first intravenous injection. I believe things have sort of come back into a proper perspective for you, haven't they?
I think so, yeah.
Now, when you were under the LSD, you wanted to be in that room alone. You were fearful that there might be some sort of an invasion of your privacy, your integrity. Isn't that right? And now that's all cleared up, and you've got things straightened away. Is that right?
I'm no longer anxiety-ridden about it.
Mm-hmm. Are you your normal self now, these are found?
As nearly as I can tell, I am, yes. You will probably be interested in my subjective reaction to this last experiment. The first and third experiments were similar, of course. Complete and insoluble confusion and anxiety reigned, and the knowledge that its cause was a drug was my sole and small reassurance. One hallucination was that of lying flat on a slowly revolving cloud-like object. There were other similar objects all around, touching gently and revolving in gear. I just rolled slowly down into the depths of this arrangement. Another one I recall is that of a flower bed type of pattern, or perhaps a purposeless pinball machine, with the lights arranged in rows and columns. The lights, or flowers, were growing, then bursting in irregular fashion, one at the left, then at the center, and so on. Next occurred the phenomenon that has happened both times I lost, and perhaps I've neglected to mention it previously. Things seemed to clear up, and I felt sane, yet I knew I wasn't. I seemed to wake up to a new world. The same
New
situation,
world order.
same people and environment, and yet
That's where you
everything,
woke up. You woke up
that
to
is,
a
my
new
mental
world
state,
order.
my life, had been altered.
It sure has.
I was a stranger in this world. I could no longer speak to anyone as a person. And that was my state when I was given the shot, bewildered, confused, afraid to say a word till I could be sure of which world I was in. I realized that what happened to me in those few minutes after the injection has a tremendous significance. Because of this realization, I have worked it over often since then. But God help me, I can't tell you a thing. It just happened. There was no crescendo, no fitting together of the pieces, no breaking through the surface. All of a sudden I found myself willing to cooperate, able to follow conversation more easily, just less anxiety-ridden. I don't know how or why. I'm sorry, but that's all I can report.
Certainly not the end. It was just the beginning. Actually, from the looks like the early 1960s, this film was made. Please share this information. Look what you've just witnessed. There will be much more of these videos that I will be posting here on truthbroadcastnetwork.com and on YouTube, freedomfirstfilms.com. Actually, youtube.com/freedomfirstfilms. I'm Howard Nema of We Are Change Connecticut, Truth Talk News on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. Thank you for watching. There'll be much more to come. God bless you, and death to the New World Order.